I am Nigel Griffiths. I work in the Advanced Technical Support for Power Systems IBM Europe. In this movie we're going to be looking at installing Director612 onto AIX6. This is a new version of Director that came out in November 2009. One of the really cool features of this release is that we now have a single install script that will do the initial install and then update us to the very latest version of Director. This actually makes things a lot quicker and a lot simpler to get Director up to the latest level, and so we can start using it. Well, here we are, my freshly installed logical partition. We have AIX61 Technology Level 4 and Service Pack 1. I've put a few gigabytes of extra space into the root file system, /var/temp. I've got a nice big /home, that's where I'll put the Director612 download file. I've changed the U limit, otherwise we hit the 1 gigabyte file limit, and we can see down here, this is my downloaded file, it's 1.6 gigabytes. System Director612 server install and update. We'll do it all in one go. First thing we have to do is uncompress that file. Okay, that took about a minute. Big file. There we are, nearly 8 gigabytes of space. Now we want to untar it. Okay, quick look, and we have a README file. Excellent. So this little file here is the README file. We'll have a look through that. 158 lines, not too bad. Okay, lots of useful information in here. It points you towards a URL here to go and check the prerequisites. So let's quickly go and do that. Here we go, and it's into the Director6 information. Worth having a quick look around in here. There's some hardware requirements in here which are good. I'm pretty sure I'm okay with that. Operating system requirements. Supported operating systems, and it's been updated. You can see here it has 612, so let's click on that. Okay, we can go down to the Linux versions, and here we find the AIX. The reason I'm bringing you here, we can see that it's Director6 is supporting AIX 5.3 TL6, but you do need Service Pack 9, and if you go to TL7, Service Pack 6, and TL8, Service Pack 4. So do remember those service packs. Similar sort of things with 6.1 until you get up to Technology Level 2, and then all the versions and service packs have the prerequisites. Okay, we're okay with that. If we then look down here, it says it needs some disk space, so the root file systems needs 1.2 gigabytes. Not a very sensible place to install things into, but that's the way it works at the moment. /opt needs some space in here, and /temp needs some space. And it says if you're doing an install from the web download like we are rather than the DVD, we actually need 4.2 gigabytes. So I've nipped into Smitty JFS2 and increased my file system, so I got the space requirements in here, and particularly /opt, that's where Director itself is installed and where the Derby database will be running once we're installed. Some other useful information in here about how to do these checks. Then there's quite detailed information about how to do the extraction, the uncompress and unpacking the files. Of course, we've done that already to get the README file out, but same things there if you're doing it from an install from a DVD package. The important stuff in here is this command in here, the install ds. I presume that's install director server, and it explains the options in here. It says -I and -U. -I for the install, and it says it here, and -U for the update. Of course, if you wanted to do more complicated things, then you'll have to read the details. You can do it in silent mode, in which you have to give it the passwords and the user accounts that it will want to use as it does the install. We'll just do a very simple install using the -I install or -U for update. There's some more information in here further down that you may want to go and have a look at, particularly if you want to look at using a different database rather than the internal one. I was looking at those prerequisites. They support DB2, the SQL server from Microsoft, and the Oracle database as well. We'll be keeping it simple so we can get some quick success. At the bottom down here, it has information about if you've already got Director612 installed and you want to go up to 612, then what you have to do to get ready for that. And at the bottom there's a whole load of error messages. Let's have a little look around. The installer is in that bin directory. There it is. So we're roughly 20 minutes in. It's asking me a few questions here. I could have put the answer to these on the command line, but I decided to do these interactively. So do I want to use the default database? And the answer is yes. So I type in a Y. My LPAR is just for director use, so I'm going to use the root and the root password to answer all these questions. That makes just life a little bit simpler. We don't have an existing agent manager. We haven't got an installation of Director already running that we want to hook into, and then we continue with the installation. Let's have a quick little look at what's going on as Director server starting up. We can see down here large Java process, 238 megabytes in size. Running along, that was just stopped. Yep, my mistake. I need to put that into the path, but we can find it directly. IBM. And it's active. We can go to the website. Okay. And it's there, but it's got a certificate. I understand the rules. Add an exception. This is not something trying to hack. Get the certificate and confirm exception. Okay. Might as well remember the password. Let's click on manage. And we see we have the defaults for everything here. So the update didn't work. So let's log out. Okay, let's check that status again. We can see the machine busy here. Java processes running, 1.5 CPUs or something. Of course, a lot of the install doesn't happen until you restart the process. They can't do things live with Java classes, for example. So we'll give that a few minutes to start up. We use the -R flag. It will tell us each time the state changes. I expect it to go from inactive to starting and then active. Okay, it's gone active. It's ready for use. Let's bring in the web browser and have a look. Okay, there's the usual welcome. We go to manage and yep, there we go. 6.12. That was quite painless, really. Now, if you're particularly observant during that movie, you'll have realized that we tried to use the install ds command to do the install and update in one go. And that is the way that it would normally work. In our particular case, though, after the install it stopped because there was an error message on the screen, inventory collection failed, and it decided it didn't want to proceed at this point. In the movie, we went with the Director graphical user interface to check what level we were at, and we found that we were at 610, and then manually did the update process. I've talked to the support people. They said this is unexpected and they'd like us to investigate on this particular machine what actually happened. So when you come to do the install, you'll probably find that it will actually work in one go, and you'll end up with the 612 release of Director running at the end of the process. So you should find it even simpler to actually do it, and actually it would be quicker to actually get the 612 version up and running.